Hi, global actors. Elise Arsenault here. It's really great to be here with you today. And today we are going to do something new. We're going to do some hot seat coaching around short term goals. So, the last time I showed up live last week, we talked about setting a goal for the end of 2018. So now we're into early October and we're just 3 months away from the end of 2018. A number of comments came up in the feed last week, and one of them really spoke to me. I really wanted to see if I could have a conversation with this global actor out there. And I actually invited her to join me today. So thank you, Charlotte, for being with us. And I'm going to invite Charlotte Dorr to join us in today's Facebook Live. So let me just bring her on. Here we go. Hold on.
Oh, wow. There we go.
Hey, Charlotte.
Modern
Awesome.
technology. That's kind of cool.
I know it's our first time sharing the screen in a Facebook Live here in the Global Actors Group. So thank you so much for agreeing to take part in this.
Cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
Jared,
So yeah, I'll let
can
you
you hear me?
talk. Yeah, I can hear you. So part of the
Okay,
reason I
cool. You
wanted to
just
bring
broke up briefly.
Okay,
Sorry.
so no worries. So part of the reason I wanted to have you on is that I know you. You're a really, really busy artist. And I noticed last week that you had shared that you have so many goals, and several of them you might not have checked off this year. So I just wanted to dive into a little bit of a conversation about goals and how many is too many, how to be as specific as possible, and how to actually hit all of your goals that you want to. So, are you cool with us diving into that today?
Yes, that's really cool. That's kind of what I thought I would do. So,
Perfect. So, ahead of time, you sent me your big list of goals for 2018. And the first thing I noticed was that, wow, you have so many things that are happening in your life, so many things that are happening in your career. And I would definitely call your career a multi hyphenate career, a multi track career. Can you just share with the other global actors what are all of the different tracks that you participate? So, besides, how would you describe yourself as an actor?
I would say I'm like a like a performer, like an artist of all kinds, covering the whole realm, like from writing, directing, building, like because I do the puppet, and as a puppeteer, it's kind of a lonely job most of the time. It
Hmm.
doesn't have to be, but I've done a lot where I do kids shows where it's a one person thing and you are everything. You promote, you book, you
Hmm.
build, you write,
Yes.
um, you insure yourself, you send the receipts, you chase up the money,
Hmm.
you 1099 it all, and you have to do it all.
Hmm.
And it's not like you necessarily want to do it all, but you pretty much have to do it all to make it work. And a lot of puppeteers in the past, in the history of puppetry, have been family things, like it's passed down family to family generation, a bit like the circus
Oh,
was,
cool.
a bit like kind of, vaudeville was, where the kids would learn it from the parents and it would be a family affair, and that would be how they would sustain it because there would be a team working.
Wow.
Now, there are more options with puppetry in that actors decide they like it, and there's lots of resources in Boston and New England because we have Yukon in Connecticut, we have the Puppet
Mm.
Show Place, and probably in New England we have the highest density of puppeteers anywhere and the highest access to training and inspiration for actors such as yourself
Mm.
who have done a bunch of puppetry and are good at it because
Yeah.
they're good actors or good dancers. Like Bonnie Duncan is a puppeteer who came at it from a dancer's world.
Hmm.
She's an excellent puppeteer because of that, because she knows how to transfer movement into dance. And now she does mostly her puppetry and travels all over. But luckily she, I think, but there's so many, but so a lot more puppeteers now are doing it solo. There's less of the family thing, although people like the Sorodiacs passed it down, like their New England puppets, and Peter Schaefer, his family, he has kind of it in his blood and is passing it down to his son now, and his wife gets involved in the design. So some of the smaller puppet companies do have a team, but then there's new puppeteers that don't have a team, but they do have a backup because they're doing more theater shows where they've got one or two puppets and then they're within a theater realm. So there's different kinds of puppetry, but I do the old school. I'm going out as a solo artist to a venue. They
Mm-hmm.
only have the budget really to allow for one performer. But because of
Okay.
that, I come at it from a background as an actor. So
Mm-hmm.
I've had a training on SAG, I'm equity,
Yeah.
had been for a long time. I was equity in England, union, you
Mm-hmm.
name it. So all of
Yeah.
that, and I've done voiceover because that's the same as doing the voices for the puppets.
Yeah, awesome. So if you were to break down your career into all of the different areas, let me just make sure I know all of them. So one is puppetry,
Yeah,
and just give me a few others. So audiobooks would be another.
audiobooks, yeah, and voices
Mm-hmm.
of that. Then it would be interactive theater. I spent 25 years working for a company, and I've done all kinds of events, from meet and greet, from TV show, like openings of, like, I remember when Wicked first came to town, I dressed as Elphaba and like met and
Okay,
greet people, like those kind of what I call interactive corporate meet and greets and things
sure.
like that. I
Mm-hmm.
played Joan Rivers, I've played Boy
Uh-huh.
George. So transforming myself with a costume, with an accent, and basically walking about, talking to people, like Rent,
Mm-hmm.
Halloween ghost stories, like I did ghost tours too, which is very interactive as well as then storytelling,
Okay,
as
great.
that
So
went on.
we've got puppetry, audiobooks, voiceover, interactive theater, and film, right?
Yeah, and film. Yeah,
I
I had
mean,
a
you
really
had a
good role.
major year for film playing Kate Mara's mom in
Yes,
Chappaquiddick,
yes,
right? Yeah.
yeah. It was only 2 days of shooting, but the role's pretty is primarily very important in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
and even though they didn't show me on the telephone, you heard my voice on the telephone.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that I would have loved if they had filmed that, but I still had a bunch of, like, at least 5 different times where I was shown back on camera crying.
Definitely,
So a
definitely.
lot of
That was
people didn't. Yeah, yeah, it was
so I
cool.
would was that considered a featured role or supporting role? How are you classifying that, or how was that
I
classified?
I don't know, in a movie, I don't know what it would be, but it was number 20 in 70 different principal roles. So that's pretty high
Great.
up on the list.
That's
You know,
amazing. So I want you to
as
look,
far as the numbers going down in the list
yeah.
of the thing.
Great. So, so far I'm seeing like four different tracks, and then I'm not even including directing and writing. That would probably be its own track. So you have really like a half dozen areas of your career that you're working
And
on.
then I've got, like, I used to do traditional theater,
Hmm.
and I love musical theater.
Okay.
So I've been
Great.
pushing that. I've been taking classes this year and
Yeah.
continuing to get my voice back. And I
Great.
love singing. So I've
Great.
been doing that much of that.
Great. So I'm going to put theater and musical theater in another category. Okay.
Yeah.
So, when I look at this list, I've got to be honest, I don't think that it's wise to try to move all six of these forward at the same time.
Yes.
So if you were to pick two, if you were to pick, say, one or two of those areas, which is the one that, two different things. So first, I'm wondering, which is the one that you most want to move forward in? Let's start with that question. Which, if you were to pick one, I know that's really, probably really, really hard, but can you pick just one that you hope to move forward in? And we can say in 2019, which is the one that you want to see the most traction in?
Oof. That's really tricky, because I don't know if I would just say puppets because I know there's less competition in that. Or, like, I've been doing the puppets, and like when the year when I did 130 puppet shows in a year, I was
Hmm.
exhausted. It's really hard to do more than that because of the load
Hmm.
in, the load out, and the writing. And there's only and the work involved in doing that.
Okay,
There was one year I did 130 puppet
so
shows,
you
and
know
that's
what?
a
You
lot.
actually just made your goal list a little bit easier because you put on your goal list for 2018 130 puppet shows as well as all these other goals. So would you be okay with crossing that part off because you're probably going to be doing a lot of puppet shows is that a goal that you really, really like? Is that something that's naturally going to happen anyway because you are well known and you already know how to do it?
Well, the years that I have hit my goals as far as bookings
Mm-hmm.
is when I've really had them in my sights, because
Mm,
then I've taken things that it was like, hey, I don't need to chase that, like I
mm-hmm.
am much more proactive.
Okay.
If I if I set those, like when I say I've got to get 10 puppet shows a month,
Mm-hmm.
like this year, the years that I hit the highest goals were when I did that.
Okay.
Whereas then I thought, let's try not to be so crazy with that, and let's
Yeah.
like balance it out. But
Okay.
I think
Can
I need to go back to that.
Yeah, you need to go back to what?
Getting more puppet shows, because that's my biggest income, because I've left some of the other some of the other
Mm.
jobs that are a large part of my income.
Mm-hmm.
um I have let go of. I
Okay.
used to do a lot more interactive stuff than I do right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um in order to free up some time.
Okay, gotcha. So it's hard for you to choose if it's hard for you to choose a track because you've been doing this for a while, so you have the instincts of knowing which gigs you're more likely to get money quickly with, right? And you know how to do that in
Yes.
certain areas, and maybe in other areas you haven't broken into yet. If you were to, so I guess I have two questions. One is which one are you, which of these areas are you closest to a next goal? And then the other question I'm going to say is which one would like make your heart the happiest? So let's start with that one. What would make your which of these areas, like what's a next goal in one of these areas that would make your heart the happiest? So when I see your goals of 2018, there were singing gigs in there, there's a 10-minute short, there's a student film, there's principal roles in movies, there's 130 puppet shows, there's 12 audiobooks, there's an equity show, doll maker, book doll makers. Like there's so many goals. So you're going to make yourself crazy because you just said that year that you did 130 puppet shows, like you hit your limit. So I'm not saying that you can't do all of these, but you might never sleep. So I want you to sleep and I want you to
Which
be
is the
healthy.
Yeah,
So which
there
one of
was a
these,
year that I
mhm,
did the 130 puppet shows, and I was doing ghosts, and I was doing interactive, and
mhm.
I wasn't doing the film stuff. But I think there was one year I also was doing voiceover work, and hit like 8 or 10 books that year too.
Wow.
I don't know how I did that. That's when I lost my voice.
I was gonna say, and how did that feel? Okay, the result was that you lost your voice, so we don't want that to happen anymore.
No,
Let's
no, I've
keep
been
that
working.
let's keep that out of the mix. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering which of these areas, it's hard for you to answer this. Which of these
It
areas
is, and that's kind of
makes
why
would
I
make you
felt
the
this was.
happiest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I do know I spent a lot of time auditioning this year for traditional theater,
Mm-hmm.
and I worked very hard and put a lot of effort into every audition, in a way that
Mm-hmm.
all those years that I was very, very busy, I basically kind of slipped out of the audition cycle and got so
Mm-hmm.
rusty at auditions that when I did go, I was really bad at my auditions. I was
Okay.
nervous, I was anxious, and my stuff wasn't as well prepared as it needed to be, because I just didn't
Okay.
have the time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so um, this year, because I had more time, because I'd given up the ghost tours that I used to do, one of the interactive, and phasing out another interactive company that I worked for. Um, so that allowed for extra time, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and but I just filled it up by saying I'm going to really push and see what happens. And doing that, the
Mm-hmm.
process of those auditions, and putting yourself out there like that, was not very fun at all. um
Okay.
Even though I love acting, the idea of judgment, artist judgment, that if I
Yeah.
did get it, somebody else wouldn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
um I'm like auditioning with other excellent and brilliant people,
Mm-hmm.
um and you going in thinking, half of these jobs have probably been 90% cast already, in the sense that they already have an idea of someone they've worked with in their mind,
Okay.
and to try and give them another option is difficult to shake people's minds up
Sure.
about that. It
Sure.
doesn't mean you can't. It
Hmm.
doesn't mean you shouldn't show up. And I've never let that stop me from showing up. But it was just so exhausting. And there's so many people who can go out there and land a gig. Uh, and I just felt it was like not a best use of my time. I'm learning all this stuff, preparing all this stuff. And
Hmm.
then after the audition's done, that stuff is gone. I can't, like, if I learn a
Okay.
song, I can then use it for
Hmm.
something else. I can use it for another show.
Sure.
I can sing it somewhere
Sure.
else. I can
Sure.
entertain. If I build a puppet, I can use it in multiple places. The
Hmm.
same with kind of applying for constantly gigs online. There's everyone wants to be a movie star kind of thing, or get an acting gig,
Hmm.
you know, like in a film or something. And
Hmm.
it's just so many people. And I'm not afraid of competition, but it's like um the thought of
You weren't
like,
getting results back. Yeah. And you worked,
yes, and I know
yeah.
if I send stuff out with puppets and make calls,
Hmm.
I generally get results back.
Okay, good. All right, so that's really good to hear. So basically, what I'm hearing is that you did focus on theater this year. You showed up, you really worked really hard, but you, at the end of the day, it just felt exhausting. Um, I hear you, and I think that because you're an artist who has created so much of your own work, you have such a beautiful advantage in knowing that you don't have to wait for other people to say yes to you.
Yeah.
So so I'm hearing you and I'm just supporting you and I'm just letting you know, like, I applaud you for all of that work that you did. And I'm sorry that that was such a draining thing. I totally know what you mean because I've been through seasons like
Yeah.
that too. And so so when you think of which of these areas makes you happiest, would that kind of pursuit be something that you might want to leave behind, or maybe you might want to approach it differently next year, as in like not putting 100% into it?
I
Or
think
is there
doing that thing this year, sorry, you broke
Mhm.
up a little bit, but
No,
I
you
think
go.
the process of doing that this year gave me some clarity.
Good.
It did eat up a lot of time, but it
Hmm.
gave me more clarity in the sense that I'm seeing the shows, and when I do see the shows that I didn't get cast, and it's like, I know why that person got cast. They're excellent.
Hmm.
They do a great job. I never say when I see this, I could have done better, but I say I would have brought something different to the table, but I can see what the director, what the team thought.
Yeah.
And when I think about it, when I look at the salaries, I'm like, that's what I make in one puppet show and one interactive singing gig.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I love doing those gigs.
Hmm.
You know, I
Good.
love doing those gigs. So why, in the I didn't like the judgment of like, oh, you're doing that.
Hmm.
The way people look. You can't be a proper actor. You're not in a stage show. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like
hear you.
some
So,
people in the business look at that. Oh, you're not in a stage show. You must suck.
and you
You
know
can't get
what?
cast. You must suck. And it's like,
Guess
I've been paying my rent for
exactly.
20 years.
And I'm sorry again, Charlotte, I'm going to bring it up. You played Kate Mara's mother in a major motion picture this year. So I want to definitely, we're going to move on to what did happen in 2018 in just a moment. But what I'm hearing is that maybe moving forward, like if we were to come up with a final goal for 2018, it might not be around auditioning for theater in the Boston area. Would
Yeah.
that be true?
Yeah.
Great. So that helps us narrow it
Yeah.
down.
I mean, I'm still going to go because I don't want to get
Yeah.
rusty because I've actually started to get more film auditions. And
Hmm.
because of the work I did on my audition technique and just going and going and going,
Hmm.
um, I'm getting better at my film auditions,
Great.
which is something, it's worth going for them. If they do call you in,
Yes.
go well prepared. Don't be nervous because that one, and
Hmm.
then it gets the outside world to recognize you. So it's good for branding and marketing for other things you might want to do.
Yes. Okay. So, out of what we have left here, we've got puppetry. So, I'm hearing film being something that you want to put, that you definitely want to continue to focus on through the rest of this year. Like, if we were to create a goal around film, How would that feel?
Um, I think the work on creating, I've written a 10-minute piece that I
Oh,
workshopped in the acting workshops, the free acting workshops that I've been running at my house once a
awesome.
month.
Great.
Um, and they're kind of drop-in. I don't have access to wheelchair accessibility, but
Okay.
they're like basically meetups. Like Hoya has a
Hmm.
meetup on Sunday nights. So sometimes I'll do my workshop in the day and then go to Niall's workshop at night, on
That's
a Sunday
great.
if I'm free. So I don't get to go to those as much. But I really believe as actors, it's good to have, the real pro training, but
Hmm.
it's also good for us to meet up and support each other, not
Hmm.
just chatting about getting the gigs, but actually working on sides, working on cold reads. We've got access to phones, so we don't need high quality to record a thing, and your other actor can be your reader. So I've been doing stuff like that about once a month with usually about
Hmm.
5 people show up. Um, and so I've tested the material that I wrote, and I know it works.
Hmm.
And at
Great.
some point, if I had the money, which right now I don't
Hmm.
have the money, like
Okay.
because I didn't get the books, that I
Okay.
some like the books they again I'm not very active with the books because the way I kind of fell into it, and then I have a specific voice, and I was lucky enough to get offered a lot of books. Every so often I always connect with them, but I'm not getting like as many as I used to get. So, but what I did, I had a lot of spare change in order that I
Okay.
was now I'm living off that spare change. But
I see.
the film,
Okay.
you see what I mean? That's a long-term thing. That's something I'd like to do, but I don't think I can do that now because financially, I don't think I have time-wise financially to put into it. Get a really good and all that stuff. I couldn't do it. I could get the
Okay, hold
actors
on.
because all
You're
the other
you're
actors
breaking
who've been
off just a
involved.
second. Hold on one second, Charlotte. Let's just let it catch up. You were breaking up just a hair. Okay, I think we're good. So I'm hearing that you have a 10-minute piece that you'd like to turn into a short film. Um,
Yes.
yet you want the funding for it. But unfortunately, you haven't had as much money from the audiobooks as you have in the past. I'm
Yep.
wondering, how many audiobooks would you need in order to feel like you had enough of a funding to create your short film?
Well, that's like when things were going like really well, I was getting like one book a month and
Okay.
managing to do 5 to 10 puppet shows a month. Like if I got, as I say, 100 puppet shows and one book a month would be enough income and still enough time
Hmm.
to do all those other projects,
Okay.
financially, kind of like as
Hmm.
far as the balance juggle thing.
Okay. Okay, great. So basically then, uh, would you like some help around maybe getting more audiobooks in
Yeah, but I
order to
don't want to
pay
build
for
a
that?
home studio. I don't have a home studio
You don't
and I
have
don't
to.
have
Let we can
space. Yeah.
you don't necessarily have to. Like
Yeah.
let's talk about what the other options could be. Would you be interested in maybe delving into that with the rest of our time?
Mm, I don't know. I'm not sure. Because I don't think
Okay.
money is never really my goal. I feel like the one big difference is, still like even with the audiobooks, I don't want to do like erotica like stuff. I don't mind like
No,
romance,
I
but I
don't
don't
think
want
you.
to do the erotica stuff. I don't think I have that kind of voice for it. I like doing the books. They're really fun and you really grow doing the books. But I love live performing. I
Cool.
think that's the big thing.
I'm gonna ask you a question about what you just said. You just said it's not about money, but then just a few minutes before, I heard about how you can't produce the short film you want because you don't have the funding for it. So what do you mean by that?
I think it's like the short film is not a big priority for me.
Okay.
It's
All right.
something
So
I'd
then,
like to do if I had
mhm.
like, just like, oh, I'd like to buy that dress, but I don't need that dress if I didn't
Okay.
find the
And that's
money.
why I said what would actually make your heart happy because um, because that's what this is about doing the things that would really bring you joy because
Yeah,
you have so many different areas, right? So this short
yeah.
film, if you did this short film like in early 2019, how amazing would that feel? What would that feel like for you if you got that done?
Wondered it would be really cool because then I could put it forward to make it into a full length. And I've got lots of ideas to write it to full length, and it's semi-political and historical, set in
And
today.
Charlotte, and you could bring it to indie film festivals
Yeah,
around the country, around the world. So by creating this short film, you are creating a vehicle for you to do more of the work that you want. So as much as you say money's not a thing, it doesn't matter. I did hear you say before that you didn't get as many books, so it doesn't allow you the freedom. So
yeah,
actually,
yeah. Hardly
would
the
would money
worry.
from a couple other books help you feel a little bit more free and able to pursue this?
I think it would stop the worry of having to chase just any old gig. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, that
Like I've
matters.
always
That really
in the
matters.
past,
Yes,
in the
yes.
past, I yeah, I think you're breaking up, but in the past it would be like I love all these gigs, but I have to really chase. I have to chase. I have to take that day
Mm-hmm.
of extra work. I have to take that day of team building. I have to take this this gig and that gig. And I love all the
Mm-hmm.
gigs, but I have to chase them as well to make sure, okay, that I made my income for that week so that I can pay my rent. That's,
Okay.
some people say, oh, I want to be full time, but then it becomes different. Like sometimes I think if people have a day job and they can balance their other stuff, that takes off some of the stress of like the juggle.
Okay.
Do you
Yeah,
understand? So it's
I
really the
do, and I understand.
stress.
Right. And that's why I'm asking if booking a few more audiobooks before the end of the year. You don't need to know how you're going to do it. I'd be happy to help you figure that out. But
Yeah.
if you could book two more audiobooks in 2018, how would
Oh, yeah.
that feel?
That would be fantastic. Like in the past year, like last year, I thought a book got cancelled on me and then I got three books instead. And that helped me through the end of the
Okay.
year. That was perfect,
Great.
you know?
So how,
And I just
yeah, so
kept
how would you
emailing them.
Great. So let's set that as a goal. And what I'd love
Yeah.
to do is in a we can follow I would say like we can definitely do a quick follow-up of what the action steps would be, but I think that would be a really strong goal for you to book two audiobooks by the end of 2018. And by
Yeah.
booking them, maybe the date is maybe one of them, the date's in December, one of the dates is in January, but at least you have them on the books so that you
Yes.
can move closer to um, 10 the 10-minute short film. So I want to give you a couple resources that you might think about um, in your pursuit because I think so far we're talking about the work that you've done through Tantor, but have there been any other audiobook companies that you've worked for in the past?
Yes, there's one. I forgot the one I did Audible, and that I'm still roughly in contact with the guy. And he said if I ever got a home studio, he'd be interested in using me again. And that
Okay.
was a while back. And I had an audition about 5 years ago at Audible down in New Jersey, and I screwed that
Okay.
one.
Okay, don't worry about that. All right. So I have two thoughts for you. And it's your choice of how you want to pursue them.
Yeah.
But we've gotten clear on your short-term goal is to book two books before the end of 2018. So have you heard of Elephant Audio? They're in the Boston area and they record
No.
audiobooks. So
Mm-hmm.
look into them
Yeah.
because I believe they record at their studio.
Oh, cool.
So I would definitely reach out with a cover letter with a link to maybe your favorite audiobooks that you've narrated
Yeah.
and reach out to them via email, via phone number. And I believe their website will be easy to find. If it's not, reach out to me separately and I'll
Yeah.
connect you. I haven't worked with them, but I know a number of people who have begun conversations with them. Another idea is if you do get a book that you need a home studio for, Justin and I have a studio. We have a two-room studio, and so if you need a space to like for a small payment to record from, that's a possibility too. So I want you to
Yeah.
know, even if you don't invest in your own equipment, you can still do some books with outside companies.
Yeah,
So
and
I would
there
say,
is a place right around the corner that I did briefly approach 6 months
great.
ago as
Yeah.
well, like literally in my down the street, like a 2 minute walk from my house
Okay. So maybe it's time to
as
follow
well.
up because that was 6 months
Yes.
ago.
Yes.
How about a
Yes.
follow up and ask them what they would charge you per hour or per day, and then start reaching out to Audible and begin, you know, Charlotte, you're really good at getting work. You are
Hmm.
really good at getting work. So I think if you were to focus in just this area for, it doesn't mean like this is all you're going to do for the next few weeks, but if you can
Yeah.
spend ten minutes on it every day, as far as
Yeah.
reach outs and marketing and looking at what else is out there, that's going to be, you're going to definitely move that forward quickly because
Yeah.
you've done that. You did that with theater this past year. I think if
Yeah.
you focus, this is something where you have booked a lot of work in the past. So I know
Yes.
that's doable to you. How would that feel if you got those bookings under your belt?
Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. Like
Great.
I've been just like crossing my fingers because usually like I get a email, random email, and like
Mm-hmm.
I've been lucky that both with the puppets and with the audiobooks, it's been like they've come to me. So,
Okay.
uh,
Yeah.
I mean, I still do the work, but I follow up, which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't even follow up a response.
Exactly. So that's why you're going to get this. So, all right. So you're going to book two books before the end of 2018, and let's come up with three actions that you're going to take. And then I want you to check back in the global actor group to
Yeah,
let us know you've taken these. Okay. So what are the what are three things that you can do right off the bat that you know?
I could reach out to both uh, Audible in New Jersey and
Mm-hmm.
reach out to the place that I used to work that's now got offices in the Midwest, and I think I've still got his email somewhere.
Great.
I forget. As I say, it doesn't jump off the top of my head.
Okay.
Um, at them, I could say I have access to a studio. Do you have anything?
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Great. Mm-hmm.
And then worry about it if I get a book. Just figure out how to
Exactly.
book it.
Right.
Because it
Yeah.
still might be worth it for insurance and anything, even if it's a break-even situation for the first time.
Yes.
You know.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
and um, and
And one more
then
action.
and then reach out to the studio that's really close to me. And
Mm-hmm.
sorry, there's a third action. Follow up that elephant audio that you talked about. So that's
Great.
4 actions.
Okay, so okay, awesome. Amazing. How do you feel about this?
I feel those things I can get going like next week. I've still
Great.
got to memorize stuff for my Halloween
All
shows.
right. You got that. You got that. You
I
always get
got
that
that.
done.
And I love
Mm-hmm.
doing all that. I love singing. I love, if you say what brings me the most joy, it
Mm-hmm.
is doing stuff that brings joy to others. Like
Great.
what, you know, I love escapism. I
Mm,
think especially now, that's very important.
mm,
I love bringing joy to like little kids and old people. And when you
mm,
sing carols and an old person like holds your hand and says,
mm.
"Oh, God bless you." I mean,
So
you
beautiful,
can't,
Charlotte.
the joy, people who are left out. Like, I love going to singing every Wednesday night
Mm,
because I love singing. I
mm-hmm.
love, I love anything that brings joy to people. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel I have skills in that. So
Yeah.
I don't need to be in a play. I'd like to be, but I think part of that is so that others, my peers, will respect me. But
Yeah, and you know
ultimately,
what? You've got
ultimately,
peers here. You've got peers here that respect you. Kim's saying, Charlotte, I love you. Um,
yeah,
I'm saying that too, and I bet anybody else who's watching this will. So you know what? The people who are not for you, let's just let that go.
yeah,
Because
yeah. I mean, I
yeah.
believe so much in the power of theater to bring joy to others, and
Hmm.
that's something. And in the process, also teaching humanity and passion and kindness. So my politics, I actually have my own political agenda, and but I, with my puppet shows, without being one side or another as far as a political party, it's very important for me to express ethics like honesty, truth, kindness, forgiveness.
Beautiful.
And in the stories that I tell with the kids, they're all about that. The women are the protagonists. I feel very proud that Stage Source gave me the parity like thing, as a woman produced
Great.
company and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I feel that's really important. I'm going to the boot camp in, just checking the time. I have to leave for this
Yeah, we
C1 Company One boot camp because
good.
they have things where theater is about it making change, but it doesn't always have to be agitprop theater, and it doesn't always have to be angry. It doesn't always have to be sad. You can make change in people's hearts by
Hmm.
bringing joy. That's why I love stories with a happy ending. I love escapism. And that's why I think I love the idea of producing something for a bigger
Yeah.
audience, not just the
Hmm.
kids thing. And that's why
Yeah.
I have that stuff on my like long term goals
Yeah. We're
of
gonna get
like,
to that. Hmm.
writing something that I don't have to even be in. I can maybe start it, but then it can go everywhere. Um,
Okay.
and I think the movie is kind of like a more accessible thing because it's almost easier to create your own movie than it is to get something produced on Broadway. So, but I'm going to something in
Okay.
November for that.
Amazing. So, Charlotte, thank you so much. I'm thrilled that you were able to join me for this, and I'm thrilled that we were able to get specific. And this clearly means so much to you, and I'm so glad that you're following your heart with all of that. And when it comes to bigger picture stuff, at the beginning of November, I'm actually going to be doing a free 5-day challenge in the group to help you get even more clear with the long-term stuff, so
Yeah.
that you can begin 2019 with a realistic set of goals that will feel attainable so that you don't have way too many things on there, because I want you to acknowledge how much you actually got done this year. So before, let's end with that. Let's just end with, tell me 3 things that you're most proud of that did happen in 2018.
Um, well, I've done quite a lot of singing gigs, and I've been singing a lot at Club Cafe, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
working with Todd Gordon, who's amazing. And
Mm-hmm.
like, I really feel that the issues I was having with my voice, I'm still working on them, but they're getting to a place where, you know, it's all starting to pay off, and I'm feeling like I'm losing my break, and I'm able to sing, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
getting better at sight reading. So I'm very proud of like the work that I'm doing. And I did my first dance gig. Like I've been doing classes with Rachel
Great.
Bertoni. She's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And then Dan Marshall, who's a great dancer in town, gave me the opportunity to be backup dancer for a Michael Jackson impersonator at a club. And I did that gig,
Amazing.
and I had short
Great.
rehearsal time. And I've seen the video, and even though I was critical of myself, I was like, I made sure during rehearsal I didn't do any negative self-speak or saying this is hard to learn. I couldn't do it. If he believes in me, the
Mm-hmm.
person who hired me believes in me, I believe in me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to work it. And I saw the video and was like, that's pretty good. That's where I'm going. And
Great.
then
Mm-hmm.
that's paying off in like health things, feeling healthier, being able to stand for longer, not having sciatica in my leg. And then it's
Amazing.
not, I think that'll make me be able to pick up dance routines quicker, so that if I do decide I want to audition for something bigger, because I love singing. I love musical theater, you know,
Great. Great.
um,
Yeah.
and, you know, I don't, as I say, so I want to be able to do those things.
Great. Yeah.
So that's stuff
Amazing.
I
Mm-hmm.
post.
Oh, I'm
Hello?
sorry, you're breaking up again, Charlotte. Yeah. That's all right. So we've got that. Yeah. Oops.
And
I can hear you.
I booked my Dollmaker's Ghost. I'm doing a great show on the 13th in Marshfield. I'm doing a 50,
Great.
50 door split, I think, or something like that. But anyway,
Cool.
I'm very excited
Lots of
about
good things
doing
to
that.
celebrate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Congratulations on everything you're doing, and what a great year you've had. And I know 2019 is going to be just as good, if not better. So cool. I can't wait to hear how things go as you begin to pursue audiobooks again. And be
Yeah.
sure to let us know, okay? All right.
Okay,
Awesome.
great.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. And thanks to everyone watching. Thanks, Kim. Thanks, Dawn. I think I saw Amy here too. So you're awesome. Thanks. Really appreciate
Thank
it,
you so
Charlotte.
much.
You're
Thank you very much.
welcome.
I
Take
can't believe
care.
that
Thank
this
you.
technology.
It's great. All right. Bye bye.